Okay, so my story. So, my sister and I only saw my father every other weekend. That is, of course, when he showed up. And, sorry, I'm pausing because my sister is out in the audience right now, and I did not expect her to be there. That's my mom. So this is a story about my family, and now I'm like, shit. No. So he showed up, when he showed up, every other weekend, you know, if he showed up, it was always an adventure. It would be Friday night, and I would wander down the driveway, and I'd wait at the end of the driveway. And sure enough, well, not sure enough, but most of the time, I'd look down the road, and there was his van. His big gray van kind of swooping along the hills. Now this van, all my dad's vans, amazing. My dad's a carpenter, and so a normal van won't do. He just tears everything out, puts in a platform bed with little compartments for his tools, wood paneling, a layer of thick foam. This van is ready for either work or adventure. And so he'd pull in the driveway and run up, and he'd slide open the door, and the dog would run out. And first you'd get the whiff, that smell. The smell of his van was a mix of sawdust, wet dog, and stale beer. It was the best smell ever. And you look in the back of his van and say, okay, what did he bring? You know? Sometimes there'd be camping equipment, rock climbing equipment, a canoe, a kayak, fishing poles, sometimes all of the above, sometimes nothing. And on the days that it was nothing, it was all right, because I knew that we were still going to do something interesting, right? Even if we stayed in town. So this one Friday night, it was just me. I don't know where my sister was. You can ask her after the show. And he picks me up, and we're going to stay in town. Nothing in the van, right? And so one of the things that we did often on Friday night was scoop the loop. Now, to scoop the proverbial loop meant to drive to Essex, Connecticut, and there was a road, Main Street, drive down Main Street, and there was a little turnaround, and there was a marina down there, turn around, drive back, and then go to wherever he was living. That was scooping the loop. Now, sometimes we would only scoop half of the loop, so I guess that wouldn't really be a loop. But it was great, because driving down Main Street, we were always in that Friday night mood, you know, when like, you could do anything. So you roll down the window, you put on Tom Petty Full Moon Fever, and you just shout sing to all the yuppies that are walking down the street with their dogs, right? Now, we were decidedly not yuppies. We were what my dad referred to as yokels. So we'd be shouting, free falling, you know, and some nights we would drive down and he would park at the end of the loop. And we'd get out, and immediately he would start greeting these dogs around town. Hey, Goldie, how's it going? Oh, hey, Red, looking sharp there, buddy. I was convinced my dad knew the name of every single dog in Essex, Connecticut, until I was like an adult, until it was embarrassing, you know. He didn't know all the dogs. This one night, you know, as often the case, we would drive down, and I mentioned the marina. There was also a boat yard, and he would go down and check in on his buddies who were working on their boats. And at a very young age, I learned that to own a sailboat meant to scrape a sailboat, to sand a sailboat, to caulk a sailboat, to seal a sailboat, to paint a sailboat, to varnish a sailboat. But very rarely did I actually see them sailing their sailboat. Unless, of course, you could hire my dad and his buddies to scrape the sailboat, sand the sailboat, caulk the sailboat, seal the sailboat, paint the sailboat, varnish the sailboat, and yes, even sail the sailboat for you, which he did. So this one particular night, after greeting the dogs, after saying hi to his buddies working on their boats, we walked up the main street of Essex, Connecticut. Now, a little bit about Essex. It's like your typical storybook New England, little, cute, almost too cute town with the white cottages and the ice cream shop where they have an E at the end. And that was right next to Benetton where his girlfriend worked. And so we went into Tumbledowns. Now, Tumbledowns was a bar. But if you ask my dad, it wasn't a bar, because it was a family-friendly restaurant, but it wasn't. It served food, yes. And yes, it did have a Miss Pac-Man arcade, glass-top arcade tabletop. But it was a bar. So we walk in, and reminder, it's just me and my dad, which this doesn't often happen, especially when I was a young kid. So we stroll up to the bar, and my dad orders a beer, and this is where the dilemma of being an 8 or 10-year-old boy is, like, what do I order? I can't order a Coke. I want something fancy to celebrate, right? So what do you order? A Shirley Temple. But it's not called a Shirley Temple. It's called a Roy Rogers. Oh yeah, all right. But who the fuck is Roy Rogers if you're a kid, right? And I'm like, oh, apparently singing cowboy, yeah, fast food restaurant. So the bartender's like, oh, well, how about a Darth Vader? And I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere, but that guy's the villain. Okay, how about a Luke Skywalker? Luke Skywalker it is. And I tried to make Luke Skywalker happen, but when I went back and I was like, hey, I'll have a Luke Skywalker, bartender's like, what? It didn't work. So we got our drinks. My dad turns to me, he's like, hey, you want to get some wings? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to get some wings. It's just me and my dad, yeah. So we get some wings. We get some wings, we sit down. The only problem is the wings are like really spicy. They're buffalo wings, right? And I'm trying to man up and eat my wings in front of my dad and not like weep in front of him openly. This is my dad. This is the guy that literally would eat the jalapeno slices off of the top of my nachos. Like, I was like in awe of him. And I'm eating my wings, and this is where something weird happened. This guy walks up, and I had a couple red flags, a little like alarm bell. The first one was, he looked just like the villain from Ghostbusters. You know, the guy that works for the EPA with the red hair and the bushy red mustache. It's like, oh, red flag. Second red flag, he was kind of swaying a bit. Third, one of his eyes was like half down. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then he started talking to me, and it sounded like he had a mouthful of cotton balls, or he had just gone to the dentist and gotten his cavities, and he was still numbed up. And I was like, oh no, I don't like that. I don't remember what we talked about, probably about the correct name of my drink. But apparently he liked the conversation. He sits down, and what does the guy do? He reaches over, grabs a wing, dips it in my blue cheese, and starts eating it in front of me. And he's not just eating, I mean, it's a wing. So he's like ripping it and crunching it, and you can hear that cartilage and sucking it. And his rubbery lips are covered in chicken fat and Frank's Red Hot and blue cheese. And he's talking to me, but the bone is sticking out of his mouth, and he's talking around the bone. And I'm thinking, I'm not hungry anymore. You can have the rest. And that's when my dad did something. He said, hey buddy, my son and I are trying to have dinner. And the guy swivels his head around, bone sticking out, and it takes a minute to focus his eyes. And that's when I noticed my dad was serious. My dad. The scoop the loop guy, the knows every dog in Essex guy, the eats the jalapenos off your nachos guy was serious. I'd never seen him serious before in my life. And there was this like tangible pause there at the table as they looked at each other. And then the guy gets up, gets his balance, and stumbles back to the bar. They've since changed the name of Tumbledowns to the Black Seal. Either there was a change of management or general rebranding. I'm pretty sure they just wanted to cater to the tourists and the yuppies. Almost 40 years later, I went back online and checked out their menu. Guess what, guys? There's a kids menu. But you can still get wings. $13.95 tossed in teriyaki or buffalo. served with a side of celery and carrots and blue cheese dressing. Thank you.
Is it after